It is time to look at those top stories that made headlines through the week and internalize those matters of national importance. My name is Simapolo, and the dialogue comes to you every Saturday morning. It's a panel discussion and looking at those issues that really matter. This morning, my guests are already in the studios. We'll be looking at what is actually happening in Parliament. We all know that the opposition in Parliament moved to impeach, actually to censure the Security Minister, Major General Jim Wezi, accusing him of abdicating his duties as the minister to rein on the ongoing human rights violations in the country. It has been in Parliament for now actually months, but this move to censure the minister is still ongoing. But in a turn of events, then the NRM members are now moving to impeach the Commissioner of Parliament, Honorable Francis Zake. It's a big position. The Commissioner sits on that organ, the topmost decision-making and administrative organ of Parliament, and the move is still on. Like I said, it's a turn of events. It started with the boycott of opposition members of Parliament, then the move to censure the Security Minister, and now in a turn of events we see another move to impeach the Honorable Francis Zake from the Commission of Parliament. Now, that is what we'll be looking at, but before we do that, we pay tribute to the late Emorimori of Iteso, the cultural leader who has been extolled as a peacemaker, who has been eulogized as one who was at the center of unity in the Teso sub-region. He is going to be buried today, and I will ask my guests in the studios to make just one comment in tribute to the late Emorimori Osban Lekumor Osban, the cultural leader of the Iteso. Now, it's my pleasure to invite and welcome Senior Counsel Simon Peter Chinobe, former President Uganda Society, but he has links with the ruling party, National Resistance Movement. Welcome to the dialogue once again, Counsel.
I am glad to be here once again. I hope the deliberations we make today shall be of great importance to the listeners. We thank you for listening to us. We don't take that for granted, and for tuning into Salt Media.
Good. Welcome once again, Counsel Peter Chinobe, and it's my pleasure to welcome Honorable Luchamuzi David Karwanga, Member of Parliament representing Busuju County in the 11th Parliament, a member of the National Unity Platform, the leading opposition party in Parliament. Honorable, you're most welcome to the dialogue this morning.
Thank you, my colleague. And my name is Luchamuzi David Karwanga, Member of Parliament for Busuju constituency, as you've said. Like you said, we also pay tribute to our beloved King of Teso. Yes, we know a lot has been said, but what we can go with, that we just have to remind ourselves that we are here on this earth, and tomorrow we shall be living here.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, just get to know, are you making a plus or a negative? So we thank God for the life of this former Majesty of Teso.
Yeah.
The rest will come in, but as of now, there's nothing we can talk about him as of now. We just have to thank God for his life, and we sympathize with the Ites or whatever has happened. I know today they are burying him today. So we also thank the government for what they've done to bring him, to pay tributes to him in the Parliament. It's now becoming a culture that whoever dies with the background of the political interests of certain individuals They are brought to Parliament. There are some people that they've left out. And at one point we even, remember we even brought that motion some time back with the Madam Speaker, Kadaga, and we were asking who is supposed to be brought at Parliament. But we can play it that way.
Yeah.
And we just enough is enough. Let's do what is variable. As of now,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Rochamuzi David Karanga. And it's again my pleasure to introduce to you Council Gawaya Tegure. He is with us the program this morning. Council Gawaya Tegure, please speak to our viewers as we start the program. Okay, I think we'll connect with him later on. And briefly, Council, tribute to the fallen leader of Etherset.
I want to console and condone with the people of Teso over the passing of the Emorimo. Emorimori.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to meet him once, and my take of him is he was a very, very simple, humble man that did not move with the airs of his kingship. And that humility, I think, rubbed onto the people of Teso rightly, because during his reign as a Mori, he was able to unite the people of Teso and have them speak with one voice. I've heard that he considerably contributed to expunging of the Lord's Resistance Army, led by Connie. You remember when they came to Teso, they found people who were ready to repulse them. And that was under the leadership and organization of the Emori. As a cultural leader, he's a uniting factor, and I think he's been that. He's not been extremely controversial. I don't know whether that is good or bad, but we enjoy and celebrate the souls departed for the good they have done, and I think he's done a good job in uniting his people and in protecting his people. We hope that the next leader shall not only fill his shoes, but shall surpass his legacy. So we condone with you. We pray that God shall rest his soul in peace. And we thank God for the gift reflected through him, because all of us here are here in a cycle of life and shall eventually die. So may his soul rest in peace.
May his soul rest in peace. But a comment Honorable Karanga made, and we cannot just brush it under the carpet. A motion to pay tribute to the late Emorimo was brought to the floor of Parliament, and David Karanga is a bit concerned, not himself, but probably many others are concerned about who should be brought to Parliament in case of death. And
I don't know whether I can put something.
Okay, you can.
What I understand, we don't want to politicize this issue, because the mere fact that he was a cultural leader and he did some work. He had made a plus on this country. He qualified, but previously, and we don't want people of Soroti, people of Eastern region, to take it as if there are some leaders that were not happy with the way things were done. But we wanted, as leaders, it's always better we define who is supposed to be brought to Parliament, because there are even other people that calls. In fact, they always demand that the board of their
deceased fellows, family members
be brought to Parliament. At times, it looks political. At times, people push their interest far of what is supposed to be done. But of now, since he's a cultural leader, we can play it and leave it at that.
Okay.
But some time back, there were people that were supposed to be brought to Parliament, and they were not brought. And it hurted some of our colleagues. I've been there. I know what's going on. We need to define it.
Yeah, since it is a matter of concern, Honorable David,
Yes.
we can give it a minute. I don't know if Senior Counsel Peter Chinobe has...
Well, my brother David is in the house that I consider mostly useless.
Really?
But I think I'll give my views later.
No.
I'll give my views later.
It's too big. That's below the belt.
It's
Yeah.
not. I will give
below
my
the
views
belt.
later. But
You cannot say that the Parliament is useless.
Yeah, it is his opinion, but
that's
again...
my opinion,
Maybe-
and I will talk about why later, if given an opportunity. But I think I partly agree with my brother. We honor, of course, the souls departed are entitled to tribute from the house and all the functions as enlisted. But I think there are some other categories of officials that are not clearly delineated. And so some of them are left out mainly because of not having the majority in Parliament. And I think at times there are people who have contributed. I don't want the ones I know are still alive. If I mention them, they may think I wish them dead. But if somebody has contributed to accountability and other issues in government, they've been members. As in, they've really. I'll give an example of my friend Professor Latigo, who is in the opposition. I think he did a very good job as the leader of the opposition, and strengthened that office both with policy and law. And that office is what it is because of his input.
Really?
Yes, those who've been in Parliament longer, like my brother and those that have been there longer, will tell you. Before that, there was no budget for that office. It was just another thing that was being
things have just changed.
thought about. But he tried to align the office. So in saying all that, I don't want to talk about the living. Ugandans are very suspicious. But I think we need Parliament, and my brother is there, David. They need to come up with a policy that allows the nation, that allows the House to recognize those that have considerably contributed to this nation. And they don't even have, incidentally, to be members of Parliament.
Council.
Yes, so, yeah.
Council, the challenge, it's because of this pet politics that we are playing.
Really?
If it wasn't that, there are many people that are supposed to be brought to Parliament. But because of the politics, because of the influence, because of the interest of certain individuals, you find some of our colleagues are left out because maybe they were not helpful to some individuals. But like you said, we just have to come up with a streamlined policy of how we can handle people that have added something to our country. I know very much that there are people that are left out deliberately because they know the moment they hype them, they might create another problem, maybe politically, from the area
I
where
think,
they are coming from.
Honorable, that's part of concerns that have been raised around honoring even the people who are still alive. The issue of medals in this country has been also, the process has been questionable for some time on how we...
Who is behind the selection, who is behind of what it should be given to who, and above all, you're giving a medal to someone without even a package of 3 million or 1 million, just at least to hype him, because people have worked for this country. but they are there, wrote.
But your country cannot afford to give money. This is what you see when a medal is a medal of honor. It doesn't necessarily reflect into monetary terms, but we are recognizing your service to the country. And I think it's, I don't agree with the money component. It would be good if we can afford it, but everybody wants money and we just don't have, as a country,
my point is,
enough money to go around.
My point is, why do you have to give money to a certain clique, a certain group of people, moreover, that have not been helpful?
Gentlemen.
And you leave the other people to suffer. Those old guys that were there for you, and you don't recognize their presence, you don't help them, and you get these people and you give them money from nowhere. They start complaining that I was not given, I was not compensated. I even went to bank and got money from. I don't know whether you've been here.
But this is what we should separate state policy from party politics, from individual politics. Now, if my brother David, and I know he does it because I have been in the political sphere. You know, people think contesting for office is about winning, but there are gains that you get that are more. You will never understand what people go through, what I went through, until you contest. And I know my brother David, like I did myself, you have agents that you pay. Even when you lose, these are your people.
You remain with them.
You stay with them because they are loyal to you. So I want us to separate state policy from party politics
and individual
politics.
Senior Counsel, I think that is what Honorable Karanga was saying.
So
wait a minute.
Then we agree.
He was saying, let's come out with a clear policy on those people that should be recognized at what level, even when they are still alive. We are giving out medals. Let's have
someone to die. I hear we are at men of Ugandans here in Central. They've just heard about Emori Mori. They knew there was a king somewhere.
David, you.
No, I have to tell you.
Honorable David.
You can tell someone, what do you know?
You were clear.
What do you know about this king?
Your position was clear in the beginning.
People knew him. I don't want to go into.
Your position was clear in the beginning. You said this is not about the late Emorimori. He has played his part in relation to unifying that region. He has been key in developmental programs in that area. So this is not about him. We are talking about
our country.
Yes.
And what will come out
exactly.
This is what I want to suggest to my brother David. There is a procedure for private members' bills. If he is disgruntled with the way the process is done, let him move one.
Okay.
And then come back here and tell us I moved, but they refused. Then he will have a justification to complain. Now he doesn't.
Good that he has a platform. You have a platform.
Let me put something right. Yes, I'm entitled and I can do it.
Yeah.
But the challenge is there's even bringing it and being suffocated because of political.
But
all right.
You haven't brought it.
At least you have to make
that issue. Was
you first make an attempt.
Now it was brought
at least
exactly
make an attempt.
It was brought.
All right, viewers, this is the dialogue. My name is Simapolo. Honorable David Karanga, Luchamuzi David Karanga, a member of Parliament for Busuju County, is in the studios, and Senior Counsel Simon Peter Chinobe, the former Uganda Law Society president, is in the studios. But we need again to welcome Senior Counsel, veteran journalist Gawaya Tegule is with us. Gawaya, can you speak to our viewers and probably you pay tribute to the fallen His Highness the Emorimori of Iteso, if possible? Well, looks like it's still not easy to connect with him. But I think we can move on. We'll get him. We'll connect with him later.
Okay.
Council.
Yes.
Let's go straight to Parliament.
Okay.
A lot is happening in Parliament, and I'll first of all get a general comment from both of you, and yes, we'll start with Honorable Karanga. A lot is happening in Parliament. A move to censure the Security Minister, Major General Jim Mwezi, is still on. It's ongoing. The process is ongoing. You kicked off a process to collect signatures. Information that we have, you still have a long way to go to collect those signatures, and time is actually up. You have time. There is a stipulated time within which you have to do that.
It's supposed to be 10 days.
Yes, and now I think 5 or 6 days are gone. You can give us an update as we start.
Yeah. Anyway, my colleague, we have a lot of challenge in this country. Leader of opposition came up with a proposal, and we supported him. The challenge is not how many people that have signed. The issue is how committed we are as opposition. And I want people to understand, by the way, some of these issues come in just to help us know the kind of people we are dealing with. It doesn't help seeing members of parliament over 109 in opposition, and you fail even to get 70. That is around 60%, 65% of the total population, total members of parliament, as far as the percentage is concerned. And for them, the rest have refused to do what? To sign. And the issue is not them refusing. I just want to talk about Karwanga as the member of parliament for Busuju. I myself, as long as I appended my signature on the
Petition.
document or the petition, for me as Karwanga, I'm done. Because that's what my people are looking at. 1. 2, we are seeing a lot of challenges, but many of our colleagues are not seeing them at parliament. And when we enter parliament, there are some influences that always capture mind and divert us from what Ugandans expect from us. Yeah, I can give you an example. There are people that claim to be opposition. And I want now Ugandans to understand, is what people tell us is what they rely on. If someone is saying yes during that time, does he mean it? Even at night? Are they the right people to move on with? My colleague, you are here because I know media is so much into this. But the only issue I can tell you, that even telling our appointing authority that the person you appointed has weaknesses somewhere, us as opposition, us as people that are fighting for our people on the ground, we get satisfied. Because the moment we notify the appointing authority that yes, you appointed ABCD, but he's not doing his work, we cannot do it minus those kind of censorship you're seeing. We cannot do it minus spotting where those people are doing their mistakes. So for us, we've done our work as members of parliament. More so, me as Karwanga, I've done my work because I've already appended my signature. And I don't mind if another person or another MP has not. I don't mind. My point is, have I done my work? Do people feel that they are represented? That's the only thing I feel at. Sorry, I look at.
Honorable,
So there are two issues in this. One, there is a censure for
the security minister,
and there's another one for Zake. The issue is, who brought the one of Zake? Is Mapinduzi.
An opposition.
Mapinduzi is from which is on which side?
An opposition member.
An opposition. These are the people that are being used All along we've been telling people that we have members, but let me tell you, they are not on our side. And you cannot claim to be owning them. These are members of parliament that feel they can do whatever they want.
Honorable, you're an insider, because you're giving us a quick update before we delve into these issues. Have all NUP members signed on that petition?
That one I cannot assure you, because for me, I signed as a person. Let me tell you, if we have 60 members of parliament, NUP members are 57. There's a possibility of telling you that all of them have signed. I don't know whether you're getting my point.
No,
there is a possibility.
Councillor Simon Peter Chinove, you listened to that submission, as brief as it is, from Honorable Karwanga David. What do you pick from the onset? What do you pick?
You know, when we say some things here, some people, especially in the opposition, either think we are idiots. Many of them have formulated a view that they will abuse everyone to power, which is, of course, impossible. You can't abuse the whole world into voting and electing you. But let me say this categorically. One, I think we have an opposition that does not have consensus. And the state in which the opposition is at to date is very worrying, because we have now finished 1 year of this term we are in, and there is almost next to no impact from the opposition. We have people of substance in parliament, young people who are yearning to lead this country, and we have so many things that are going wrong that they have even failed to manage the simple things. So these are clear signs of the lack of consensus that obviously comes from mistrust from within, among others.
Infight.
Infight, yes. Infight and mistrust.
Yes.
Now, and just to show you how sad the situation is, you have over 100 opposition MPs in parliament. By the time, and I think the 10 days have lapsed, or you still have
They have few days.
You have one day. As of yesterday, I was following, and the motion had been signed by 66.
But Council, where are you getting this information? If from me, I cannot access it.
See,
You're using online. No, let me be clear on this, because I know what is there.
How many are they?
Correct me, please, if I am wrong.
How many are they? Who have signed, appended their signatures as yet?
This is what I want you to understand, my colleague. The issue is not knowing the number.
No,
but the issue
Honorable.
is what you're seeing, because I know where they are signing from. And even the sergeant at one point, is not allowing anyone to access those documents. The only document that I've seen moving around is the one of the NRM, the one for Zaki. But the rest are not moving out.
So let me make my point.
Make your point.
And I don't think I'm the only one who's had access to this document, because I know as of yesterday, but only 66
that's what
members of parliament had signed. And this is not from the media, this is from from the actual document. But you have over 100 opposition MPs in parliament. You would have assumed that at least the 100 will have consensus on this small issue. You know? But also, secondly, I think the censure motion was born out of bad blood.
Okay.
And I will explain. All of us as a country should condemn torture. Nobody should condone it.
Yes.
But we cannot get a person, and just because they're the minister, and say we are going to censure you. The question is, where is their complacency in all this activity of torture. And I think he made a statement in Parliament. He said it's not state policy. We have actually given directives that the army and the police should investigate and bring these culprits to justice and what. And I think as much as a political head is concerned, he did a relatively good job in assuring the country. What I would have expected the opposition to do, and not only the opposition, but also the ruling NRM, is to say, we have had your statement, now give us progress on the investigations. Not to victimize him just because he's a ministry, rather he's a minister. I beg your pardon, he's a minister, and say now because you're a minister, we are going to censure you. And that's why many people feel, including those in the opposition, that this censure motion is not fair and just.
Is it possible you can go step by step? Because at times there are some good information I'm getting from you. Now, are you trying to tell me that whatever was brought was not in good spirit? That's one. To you, that's what you're saying.
It wasn't in good faith, yes.
Secondly, if you bring a statement and you bring another statement, and we continue demanding for those people that, one, have been killed, two, detained, three, fair hearing, and you don't respond positively, and you pretend to be as if you're working for the country, for its betterment, but negatively at your side, because you're not seeing, you're not showing the public.
Let me say this.
You're not showing. You're saying no. Council, you said that you agree there was a big cause for this motion.
No, but I did not say that.
You said.
I said the motion was brought in bad faith.
Wait.
I'm very categorical about the words I use.
This is what you said, because to me, I can listen and understand. You said we all understand there is torture. Yeah, and we don't agree. We don't want.
I did not say that we understand there is torture. I said all
now,
of
as
us.
As a Ugandan
all of us. Let me rephrase. Please don't make me say what you want to hear. I'm very categorical about what I want to say. I said as all Ugandans should condemn torture.
That's one.
I added and went ahead and said the motion to censure the minister was brought in bad faith. Because as a political administrator, he'd taken steps to ensure that the culprits are brought to book. Number three, we have a thing called due process. Whether you want it or not, due process has to be followed. And that's why I said the best game plan for the opposition should have been to call for accountability. You have given us this statement. You have said you're investigating.
But it has been
give us the progress. And that has not been done. Now, let's also separate political talk from reality. And I don't like delving into political talk on issues of national importance. When you start saying, I remember a few weeks ago, I came here and I insisted with one of my land friends that I did not want to talk about an issue that I was not privy to. Cannot tell me as a lawyer to come and start talking things that I don't know. Now, a person comes and says that some people have been killed. That's a general statement being thrown around. We say, okay, tell us who has been killed, where, and by who. I have not had anybody in the opposition talk about that.
Council and Honorable.
So that's why I don't like delving. I don't like delving in politicking. Of make somebody look bad to make yourself look like an angel.
No.
But there are facts of law. There are issues of fact and law that we can rely on to make an informed decision. For instance, we know torture is unconstitutional.
Yeah, true.
That's a fact. That's a point of law. We know it should be condemned as a result, whether you like it or not. it is unconstitutional. But we cannot extend culpability to somebody.
I think if I
that
understood
was
you,
not involved in the same.
if I understood you well, Council, what Council is saying, well, we can wait a minute. No, we cannot agree, and we all agree that torture is actually happening in this country. That's one. Two, torture is unconstitutional. It's criminal. We can all agree that we all condemn torture. But what he's saying, if I picked his argument well, he's saying that probably it shouldn't, at this point, have necessitated the opposition to come up with a move to censure a minister. Is it so?
That's what he's saying.
Exactly.
But this is my
It
point
is
now.
premature and brought in bad faith.
That is what he's saying.
Council, we shouldn't act as if we are working for individuals here. Let's be ourselves. One, you're saying that...
Please clarify, what do you mean as if we are working for individuals? You open up that statement. Are you
like
saying
you said,
that?
you don't want to...
No. Are you saying that in reference to us, me and you? Are you saying it in reference to your fellow members of parliament? Debunk that statement, that we shouldn't act like we are working for individuals.
The mere fact that you said that the censure was
brought in bad faith.
To me, as a leader, one, these are one of the ways of how we can show people our dissatisfaction. That guess what? There's a problem. Council, you know there's torture. There's something you've asked, and I'm like, now what's this? You said, who is torturing these people? Really? Are you from heaven? Aren't you from Uganda? Aren't you been here? You've been around. You know what is happening.
Okay, I think you are right. You're right. And Council,
people have been killed.
So
people have been killed.
And
even in my conference last week, I buried one.
Let's first pause on that. The good thing is we are on national TV. Now tell us the people who have been killed as a member of parliament.
Yes.
Mention them by name and tell us who has killed them. Then thereafter, tell us those that have been tortured and who has tortured them. Say it on national TV.
Council, I know you're trying to squeeze me.
No, I'm not squeezing
in a corner
you
of
see.
mentioning issues that will be personally be reliable for. But this is my point.
Now,
this is my. I can mention.
You mention.
I can mention.
I actually dare you. Mention the name. Mention the person who killed, and where they were killed.
We have members. One, we have members of National Unity Platform that have been killed.
No names. Names.
Wait,
don't give me general statements.
We cannot mention 100 names.
Council,
give me 5.
Council, let's be fair.
Give me 5.
Council, let's be fair. If you agree, Council, Senior Council, if you agree that indeed there have been violations of rights. No. Wait a minute. You agree that indeed torture has been happening, and we have evidence. People have come out to testify.
That's what I was.
Wait a minute, Council. You agree? You can also agree that people have been.
They've been killed.
There have been
tortured.
There have been forced disappearances. They have been happening. And again, there has been
because of torture.
Wait a minute. There have been murders that have been unaccounted for. You agree? Then I think the opposition and everyone is
we are left with nothing.
Has a reason to come out and demand for accountability. In their own way, if they think that the censure motion is one of the avenues they may bring government to order, I think it is the right, Council. It's within their right.
Now let me say 3 things. One, don't mix issues of politics with facts. This is what the opposition does, and it does very well. So you have one person that has been tortured by some errant official. And I have seen that, I've heard of that.
Not one, not two.
Not one,
Not-
not 100.
Say 2, 3, I don't care about numbers, but I can confidently mention
But you should
names.
also care about numbers,
I
Council.
can confidently.
Should care about
I
numbers.
Can confidently.
When numbers are many,
I can
then
confidently mention names of people who've been allegedly tortured. There are even some who were awarded damages. So that's a fact. Now, what the opposition does is interesting. In Luganda, we call it kujubisa.
It's not. It's
You
not,
you
it's
you
not
you
that
add
also.
you add. You say yes, people have been tortured. They're even being killed. Killed by who? And that's the question we are all asking. Give us the names of those killed. And I will tell you, everybody in NUP will give general statements. Our people are being killed, our people are disappearing.
My colleague.
And nobody is mentioning names.
My colleague, we don't want.
So
we don't
when
want
you
to
put
appear as
people,
if-
when you put people to task to actually give facts, if I ask him, give
if
me
you
two
want-
people who have been tortured, he will mention them. If I tell him, give me 2 people who've been killed, he can't even give me 1. So let's separate the politicizing
Do you
of
think I can be here without
issues of
knowing the people that
national
have been
importance.
no.
killed? My colleague,
Council-
do you think I'm here and I don't know people that have been killed?
Council, you have you.
If you want a list of hundreds
No,
of
no.
people that have been
No,
killed,
mention
I can.
5.
But
Council.
the issue is not mentioning.
Council, you're being.
I've told you, you're not from heaven. You know what is happening?
Council, I think you're being unfair to
Why am
Honorable.
I
Wait a
being
minute.
unfair to him by putting him on task?
You,
to mention-
no.
Wait a minute. You remember what happened on 18th and 19th November, riots in Kampala and other
So those
cities.
people killed
Wait a
themselves.
minute. Government came out, actually the president, the commander-in-chief came out unequivocally and said there have been murders that need to be audited. They need to be audited. You remember that one. Wait a minute. The Law Society, you got.
man,
Wait
no.
a minute. In a report,
killed those people.
in a quarter report by Uganda Law Society that was released just a few weeks ago, they mentioned the death of a Muslim cleric, Chirevu, Muhammad Chirevu, who was killed in
By military
unclear circumstances.
So now let's
So
let's
I'm
backtrack.
trying-
wanted one. Now
Let's
he's
back.
mentioning more than one.
Let's backtrack. We remember they were called the November riots, where I think 43, 53 people
54.
are alleged
To you, they were 53.
have died. To me, who? Am I a soldier? Am I in government? You're on payroll of government. You are saying to me as who?
So, yeah.
So you have 53 people. You have 53 people that are alleged to have died. In law, we use the word alleged. It offends so many
is okay.
people. But for purposes of the law, it remains an allegation.
Alleged.
And that's why we say alleged. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. But we have 53 people who allegedly lost
Killed.
their lives. Does my brother David know that 4 soldiers were tried for that killing, that unlawful killing? And that 2 of them, I think, are either going
Council.
to be put on firing squad or...
Council,
Like you said, we should
So,
not
Council,
discuss-
I need to go for a break. I need to go.
Anticipation.
You're saying
I need to go
thought.
for a break. Council,
It is
difference
not
in the-
anticipation.
the mere
So
fact that you're
you
saying
see,
I think
the
those
moment,
are
the
anticipations.
moment you fuse politics with facts, you lose the
lose it.
point.
well, our viewers, we're looking at what is happening in Parliament, and somehow we rolled back to what happened, and I need my guests to focus on what is happening exactly in Parliament. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, we look at what is happening, the censure motion, the move to impeach, the move to impeach Honorable Zake, and all those issues. And actually, the contentious issue is that these matters have actually divided the opposition. There are now concerns of betrayal. The Honorable Karanga, in the beginning, how he started his submission, you can actually see that there is something not right in the members of opposition. We will return from the break, and the program is The Dialogue. Welcome to the dialogue. My name is Samapolo. Council Simon Peter Chinobe is with us in the studios, and Honorable Luchamuzi David Karwanga, Member of Parliament for Busuju County, is in the studios. We are looking at what is happening in Parliament. And members, I think we need to go straight to the processes that are going on in Parliament. Well, we can agree that human rights violations have been going on and are indeed happening. But what is being done by our leaders is our concern. And again, the process through which whatever they are doing is being done is also a concern. And again, the consequences and what can come out of these processes is also a big concern. Like I said before we went for a break, Honorable Karwanga somehow mentioned that the opposition is divided. Issues that probably would be uniting the opposition are actually dividing the opposition. I don't know if it is your concern. Let me start with Honorable again. Let's hear your concern. Are you really concerned?
We are so much concerned because the issue is, if the person that is bringing the motion to censure or to deny Zake or to remove Zake from the commission is from opposition, it creates something in our minds. One, you're either stabbing us and you're stabbing your very own. I don't know whether Council is getting my point.
But I get the point, though I partly disagree. I will explain later why.
We've been monitoring these people, the Mapiendus and others, the way they've been doing their work. In fact, they are costing us, but they are not seeing it. Because they are there, there are people in the public there that are creating a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And they are saying, if ABC is the one behind this, then what kind of leaders are we having? Secondly, yes, I know the issue of Zake is quite vital as of now. But still, we need to understand where it came from. Because even mocking someone also at times creates problems. It was not my first time to hear about that statement, that Zake has been claiming that he was beaten, was tortured, but he has won a medal. I heard it some time back, but I didn't expect it to come from our leaders, more so from Parliament. And even Madam Speaker might have brought that issue, might have talked about it, maybe in a joking way. But the reaction that came from the public also created more pressure from Zake.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I don't want to talk about that issue too much as Karwanga, first from Mitiana. Zake is from Mitiana. Is my colleague, is my brother. I can only call for reconciliation between the two parties.
The two parties.
Because it's not going to help us. I don't know whether you're getting my point.
We get it.
It's not going to help us see
we get
Zake out of the commission. And it's not helping us seeing Zake continuing fighting with it.
We'll get to that, Honorable. But me, I want to take you back to how the issue has divided you as the opposition. First and foremost, before we come to the issue of Zake, the fact that you have even failed to garner at least support on your move to censure the security minister, even within your opposition, is a big statement. And that is the concern you said that is in the public. Your supporters are worried that, well, we have at least 109 members of opposition in Parliament. Why haven't we at least managed to get their signatures on that petition? That is a big concern. Talk about it. I think that is what Councillor Chinobe hinted.
When you enter Parliament, one, we always get oriented. But in the process of orientation, we get a lot of fear from, one, the ruling party, and even start looking at our colleagues individually in a very different way. If I can tell you, many members of parliament would have already signed those judgments. But some of these members are colleagues to the minister.
You see? Well,
because, like, you know, we are there to lobby for our constituencies. So in the process of lobbying, you find yourself in the hands of a minister, of which tomorrow you have to put...
I think now your point comes out very well. Council Senior, Council Chinobe, I think now you get the real issue.
I partly agree with him. And yes, there is need to be concerned, especially if you're in the opposition. But I want members of the opposition, especially NUP, which is the lead opposition party in parliament, to think strongly about the term political maturity. And that term comes...
Wait a minute. It is his opinion. Let him build up.
You see, that's the problem. We are saying serious things, you don't want to listen.
No, I feel offended.
Let him.
If you call NUP, or you talk about NUP, and you...
Let him substantiate his claim. Let him substantiate his claims.
Now, I think they need to seriously think about political maturity, because you have come from the politics of word exchange in the field. It's totally different from the politics of consensus, number one. And I'll give an example of my colleague. My colleague has talked about Mapenduzi he's an opposition member of parliament, having raised a motion to censure the commissioner Zake. What he has not mentioned is that the conduct of Zake was extremely bad and unbecoming. Right? So that's a fact. But when a member of the opposition raises this motion, of course, members of NRM are flagging him on and smiling. It doesn't mean that Mapenduzi has taken money from the movement. So I would have thought that actually my friend Matthias Mpuga, who I respect very much, and I think he's an extremely brilliant fella, should have reached out to this Mapenduzi and said, you've brought this motion, this is the issue, but can't we find a way of harmonizing this to make sure that we do not embarrass ourselves by taking this to the floor of parliament? That's what I mean by political maturity. It's not an insult.
What if that attempt was there and he refused?
Well, I don't know if it was there. If it was there,
that's what I was going to tell you.
Then cheer up. But let's go to another thing. Now, there is what they call combative politics, and there is what they call lobbyist politics. They are two different. Combative politics works very well when you're in the field. When I am running with David, David will unleash all venom to make sure that he wins, and vice versa. It's at times the nature of politics. But when you get to the House, there is what they call, and I remember there were 2-3 ministers who were almost censured. If you recall. And this is where NRM moved. It's not that NRM didn't have the majority. But for the first time in history, on 3 motions, people said, no, this is wrong. We as parliament should do something about it. And it came from lobbying. Now, when you talk about some of these issues, and I remember how the censure motion for Jim Muhwez, the minister, came up. It was strongly politicized. Nobody was giving reasons as to why he should be censured.
The reasons were there.
Let me finish my point.
No. There is a way you're bringing issues. The reasons were there.
Can I finish my point?
And let me tell you, there were steps that as we are done with this, we are bringing in this.
Okay.
So can I finish my point? So there were no reasons given, save for the fact that he was the Minister for Security. And that's the view that was taken. Maybe there were many other reasons, I don't know, but that's the view that was taken. So you're censuring somebody because he's the Minister of Security. And the question that was being asked, if you are honest, you'll agree with me, was what was his culpability in torture? That was the question every member of parliament was asking. And that's the question that the movers of the motion were not answering. Some of these things need lobbying. And when you lobby with NRM, and I feel sorry, really sorry, for the leader of opposition in parliament. I pity him. I feel sorry for the other leaders of these commissions and the committees in parliament. I pity them. Because you are basically put between a hard place and a rock. You want to perform. In order to perform, you have to get consensus from your other colleagues who may not necessarily be part of your party opposition. But now, if I go to the NRM and talk to Tayewa and say, you know, why can't we do this and this? Remember that Tigo used to do that a lot. He was saying that this one is a mole. The opposition will say you're a mole because we saw you talking to so and so who is in NRM. At the end of it all, politicians need to understand. Let me finish my point. Yes, those are the challenges. But at the end of it all, I think the opposition, and mainly the opposition, because you see, when you put out a message there, then in my language, they say kitandugira.
Let it not.
I don't even know how to.
Let it not originate from me.
They will say I'm in opposition.
But
so when you have that scenario,
counsel, senior counsel, we have. Wait a minute, senior counsel, you seem to. I don't want to use the word I choose. You choose the opposition for in this particular matter for not handling it in a diplomatic way and going for that combative method and strategy of marshalling support to censure the minister. Instead,
he has answered the question. It's only green aware. Because I am not in parliament. I will.
No, you don't know what is happening in parliament.
Yes.
And for you, you're seeing issues.
Let's listen to him now.
Different way.
Maybe
let me give you an example.
The issues I'm seeing are from the perspective of what we as the public are seeing.
Okay.
David can tell us what.
David, tell us.
Let me give you an example. It's like a flashback. Sometime back when the Bijambia issue came
in Greater Masaka,
we went with Jim Owes. Even the Buganda caucus also went there. But I am aware that that guy, the minister, chased members of parliament and he didn't want to move around Masaka region with him. So there are issues we are just looking at in a plain way. But behind, there are a lot of issues that you cannot just unveil here.
Are you saying
on the national TV?
Are you saying what Council Chinobe? What Council Chinobe is saying is impossible? It cannot happen. You cannot lobby.
I'm not a PR for the parliament. I'm here as a member of parliament for a certain region or a certain area. I'm only supposed to talk about issues that I can defend as a person. But my colleague has issues that he's putting up here that I cannot defend as a person. But I'm only talking about those issues because I'm a leader and I'm concerned. One, you've said that much as you sympathize with a leader of opposition, because at times he would have called, he's saying he would have called Mapinduzi to have a one-on-one, which to me would have been better. But let me tell you, there's even a possibility of calling someone and it fails to come. There's even a possibility of calling someone and because he's already he talked about money issue, he's already doctored somehow.
So that is your suspicion.
because if a colleague, if a colleague, more of a leader calls you, that guess what, you bring in some issues, but they're going to create problems. Why don't you come and we first talk before you raise it in the floor of parliament? At times, some of these motions, they come even on the floor of parliament without the notes of our fellow leaders. So it becomes a problem to control it.
He agrees with me that there was no move to have an inter-individual dialogue. But also, again, to my brother David, when I disagree with you, it doesn't mean somebody has given me money to disagree with you. When you disagree with me, it doesn't mean somebody has
not that.
Yeah, there is already suspicion.
It's within his right.
It's not that, but because we've ever seen it.
From what you've said,
Honorable,
Honorable, from your submission,
Honorable,
from your submission here, you already are suspicious that Honorable Mapenduzi maybe was influenced.
Maybe was told
to bring up this issue.
He's castigated somebody without evidence, and a member
but that is just,
of the
I'm
same
very clear on
opposition
this.
side.
I'm very clear on this. I've said maybe was, because I'm not saying that he got money. Maybe he had his own opinion
David,
about that.
if I come and say,
like you've said,
maybe you are corrupt, I have already condemned you. And you see, that's why the opposition will not have.
Don't you think, Honorable?
No, we've seen messages going around that every member of parliament that is signing on the motion is given 1 million. So you don't want me to take that? You don't want to critical analyze that? If the one that is signing is receiving 1 million, what of the one that brought the motion? So guys, we need to understand what we are going through.
So you concede.
There are a lot of issues on ground, and we should not look at this issue plainly.
So you concede that the opposition is now compromised. Some of the members of opposition are compromised to that level.
I won't be surprised if somebody comes next week and says he's equally compromised.
No, I don't have any problem.
No, you should have a problem.
No,
it goes
I don't have any problem.
Your integrity.
You should look at this maturely, because you've said that the challenge we have as opposition is not handling issues diplomatically. But I've told you where the challenge is. You cannot handle someone who has received something.
Okay.
At times, it's very hard. So I'm not saying that maybe he got money. I'm not saying that maybe he picked money from where and he came up with this motion. But I also suspiciously I'm coming up with an issue inside me.
Honorable,
how comes you can stab your own? That's where my challenge.
Stabbing.
He's stabbing.
It is his
you cannot,
right. Oh, it is his right.
I know.
Like me saying you are stabbing. Why are you stabbing Muhwezi? Is it here Uganda? Why are you stabbing your own fellow Ugandan?
I've told you where the challenge came from. If we've complained and there is no response, what do you expect us to do as members of parliament? One, we start with the person that is responsible, because this is his docket.
So are you saying Zake's conduct
exactly.
was acceptable?
I cannot 100% accept.
No, it's either yes or no. These half-halves
No.
there. This is not a political
Let me tell
question.
you, who started that challenge? Who started it?
So,
because I'm just imagining if the speaker did not mention.
now,
I'm just imagining if it wasn't, because these two people, they are friends.
So you're saying
my colleague Zake and my speaker.
You're saying Honorable Francis Zake was provoked.
That's it.
And wait a minute, he was provoked and he was forced to do something that, to act in a manner that is now being ruled
we are all
as misconduct.
Wait, we are all human. And today, you're blaming him. Tomorrow, to be you, to be blamed. Over
my brother.
At times, we fail to control ourselves. My humble request as of now is to see the two parties, that is Zake and my speaker, the one I respect, harmonize. They should harmonize.
Okay.
And let me conclude this
what do we
issue.
pick in all this?
David agrees with me, but I think because of our political differences, he's caught between a hard place and a rock.
I don't know.
He doesn't want to
condemn. But
agree with me.
Based on what you're saying, I can now tell where
But
you belong.
this is what I say, and I understand his fear. He may say I carried bags of money here, which I don't even have. But this is what I have to say. You remember the word I said, Macua? Politics. Unless you have culpable evidence that any of your members, because want it or not, you're in bed with them.
You are all opposition.
They may not be as sweet as you anticipated,
Better
but
devil,
you are in bed together.
Better devil, you know.
So my thinking is before you start, and this has been going on in the
politics.
opposition so much. I saw Mao making some statements, and I think they came from the bottom of his heart because of this thing that went on with the speaker and what. You ate. If the opposition is to have a formidable force, you have to stop looking at one another with suspicion. Because the same way you are saying Mapenduzi ate money is the same way somebody is going to say
we are
that
not
about
saying,
you.
Because I want you to be...
Let
me finish my point.
There's a scenario, there's something is trying to...
Let me use your words. The same way you are saying Mapenduzi may have eaten money from the ruling party.
Still you're adding salt.
Is the same way...
Because that's not what I said.
People may say... What did you say?
I'm saying these people, we are looking at them as if they were doctored. And it's very hard.
So what's the difference with what he has said?
Get me well. It's very hard to deal with someone that has been doctored,
Now,
because stabbing your very own at times is not very normal.
So that's emotional blackmail. So for as long as you look at your fellow members in the opposition as compromised, the same way you're looking at them is the same way they are looking at you. So there will never be consensus. You need to speak from the same script. Number two, there are issues that do not need politicization.
Like which one now?
Let me finish my point. There are issues that, and please, let's learn. Just like I'm learning from you, listen to me. There are things that don't need politicization that are issues of national importance. And once you politicize those issues,
You lose it all.
you lose traction. So then, and I'll give an example. We come from talking to torture, talking about torture. We start now talking about individuals. We start talking about derogatory conduct, because the issue has been politicized. So it becomes me versus you, as opposed to we as Uganda for the people of Uganda. Political, let me finish my point. Political maturity. Lastly, again, you see the Baganda have interesting sayings. I have been reading Proverbs. There is a book on Proverbs. Zabaganda. It's very interesting. But there is something about the person they catch in the hole. How do you translate that in English?
Who has been caught red-handed?
I don't translate that. You know, English is it's just a hopeless language.
Yeah,
It
that
can't
one who
express
has
as
been
much.
caught red-handed is a thief, is indeed a thief.
Once they get you committing the crime, you cannot say also so and so stole. And
why are you referring that
also,
Wait a minute.
let me
to whom are you
finish.
referring
finish.
it
No,
to?
let me make
Because
my
to me, it's
my
out of this.
Let me make my point, and then you can respond. So you can't say also so and so went through the same hole, but they did catch them. Why are they catching? It's you we have. In other words, in English, when you translate that proverb, two wrongs do not make
One
right. That is, when you sum up that saying, it has, when you try to unpack it, that's one of the thinkings you can
It relates to
so for
the case of Honorable Zake.
For somebody to say, oh, the other one was done what? Was provoked by so and so and so. He also acted, but why did they? you are the one in trouble, my friend. And I like what Zake did, by the way. Why we castigate him? Gain political maturity. And I think what he did was very good. He went to the deputy speaker and actually apologized.
But
now, that does not make you less of a man. That also actually makes you a bigger man.
Council, that has been,
and I think that was a very positive step.
That gesture has also been questioned. That picture we actually lie,
the one we are seeing on
is an old photo. It's an old photo that was taken at the beginning of Fame.
That's why I don't want my council to be.
Let me explain.
Let us not be misled.
Let me explain. I am not. I of course I'm not relying on the photo, but I am told he apologized and he has not denied that.
Okay.
And again, political maturity. When you are wrong, you are wrong.
Yeah,
even I have been wrong before. And when I do or say something wrong, I apologize. It doesn't make me less of a man. It doesn't mean that somebody in another party has given me money because I've apologized. It just makes you politically mature. And now the next step we need to see is how the deputy speaker is going to influence the removal of this motion to censure him, because she said in her tweet that Honorable Zake has apologized for his conduct and I have forgiven him and we have reconciled.
Okay, actually,
so we want that to translate.
In fact, we are the one now creating the problem.
We want
the more
this,
we talk about it,
we want,
the more create problem.
There is no problem. We want this to translate to the motion being withdrawn, and that's what
Honorable and Senior Counsel, maybe what we need to know is that no motion has been tabled in Parliament. Honorable Mapenduzi raised it as a matter of national importance
and was forwarded.
It was not a motion
committee,
and the member has been referred to the Rules and Privileges Committee of Parliament. So we hope, and we would want it to go the way you want it, through dialogue.
And it is possible.
It is possible.
Yes.
But again, my concern is still on what comes out of this. Honorable Karwanga has admitted that indeed there are suspicions of backstabbing, betrayal in the opposition itself. And that is a big concern, especially within your supporters. If they look at you as an opposition that is disjointed, an opposition that is rife with infighting, it doesn't rhyme well, and I don't think it is.
We've gone through a lot, and this one will also be resolved, because I know how it came. We know where it is now. The only assurance I can give to our supporters that this one will also be resolved. Even those people that you're seeing that they are stabbing us, there's non-coordinated moves at Parliament. I know at one point, Mr. Mpuga, the leader of opposition, will handle.
Yeah, it takes smart
enough.
It takes a
and
leader.
Even time heals. I always tell people that time heals. Give us time, we shall handle this issue and it will get resolved. But the challenge now is our colleagues. They are adding salt.
Who? Which colleagues are you referring to?
I don't
they
know.
are adding
salt.
I don't know why you are pointing. I'm not in the Parliament.
No. They are adding salt in any injury. Because you never know. This issue wouldn't have even reached an extent of...
Which injury are we adding salt in?
Because you know it's benefiting a certain group of people. Because coming here with a statement, like you've said, that based on what you're seeing, these people are ready to harmonize. Then if you know that they are ready to harmonize, why do you have to capitalize on it?
But the damage has already been done.
Yes,
that's why we're discussing it.
How have I capitalized on it?
It's like it's working. Because let me tell you, because there were two motions, or there were two issues, the one of Zake and the one of Moise. Now people are seeing the one of Zake as the major issue. Yet the other one is the more effective issue.
Maybe the other one. Maybe the other one is. Maybe they have concluded that the other one is going nowhere.
No problem. Even if it doesn't go anywhere. My point is it the first motion that has failed? Censure that has failed? It has been happening.
But you should be concerned.
Our point is,
honorable,
no,
you should be concerned.
Do you remember the one of Kaihura?
Yeah.
Eh?
Even General Eri Tumwine in the 10th Parliament.
Where is Tumwine now?
Yeah.
Where is Tumwine now? Because the appointing authority always looks at these issues.
Okay.
And check himself and say maybe there's a problem. For us coming out with such issues or such censures, they help us to check on those people. Those people that are affecting our country, they should be spotted out and worked on.
Okay.
And this is the only way we can do it.
Okay, but that gentleman reminds me again an incident relating to the boycott you announced, which is ending actually this week. Next week you are going back to Parliament. But even in that particular matter, members of opposition actually went to the House. You remember the issue of Anthony Akol.
Yes, but you know how Akol has been behaving.
They refused and,
no. You know
and
how
went
he
back
has
to
been.
the House.
The good thing, you've always been at Parliament. I will see you there. You know how he has been behaving. Even some time back, there's something he brought and was like, what's going on? What's wrong with this guy? But at the end of the day, they are human beings. So, and they are entitled to their what?
So
to their
anybody that does not toe the line of NUP or my brother has either been compromised or has eaten or has a problem.
I'm always at Parliament, but in those corridors, even a trailer can pass. I don't know whether I've been got away.
I will keep quiet, but good luck in building consensus.
No, we shall do it.
Actually,
that's why I'm referring to.
Actually, that's what I wanted to ask you.
100% is going to handle.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
At the end of the day, it will be.
That's what I wanted to ask both of you. That this takes a focused leader and one who can actually influence both sides. Do you see Honorable Mathias Mpuga working on this matter very well, bringing back the FDC? Actually, it's mainly FDC, which is out of this, which is in dissent on these matters. Do you see him building a united opposition in Parliament after all these things that have happened?
I have a lot of respect for my brother Mathias Mpuga. I think he's an extremely intelligent gentleman. I do not believe in his ability to unite the opposition for the very simple reason that one, the drift between the opposition parties, as you see, is partly beyond him as an individual. It has to come from the heads of these different parties. For instance, NUP with its Chagulanyi, FDC with Amuriat, but I think the still strong man in FDC is Kiza Besigye, and DP is small but still powerful with Norbert Mao. The consensus has to be drawn.
You've not mentioned about UPC.
There is UPC, that's also a different issue, but the consensus, in my opinion, has to come from those heads, and there seems to be unwillingness to have consensus. There seems to be
unwillingness from which side?
I think there is
from who?
I will say this, and I will say this from what I have heard, but I don't want to say this as a matter of fact. I think there is a lot of friction up there from the young Turks and those that have been there. They need to, I won't say who is to blame, but if they are honest to one another, they know who is to blame. And that is number one. So asking Mathias to solve this debacle may be too big.
Okay.
Number two, for as long as you have suspicion, you remember I started by pitting my brother Mathias Mpuga. Because, I mean, you're a leader. By the time you're a leader, you expect at least your colleagues from your same party to trust that you'll do a good job. Even when you're a bad leader, It doesn't matter how bad you are or how good you are, but you want the support. And I will give an example of Moses and the people who kept holding his hands to stop them from going down. It wasn't that they were mighty or what, but this were his support base. And the support base for any leader are those that are immediately next to him in his party. Now, when you have a party that is riddled with suspicion.
Now, which one is
Is
that?
suspicion real in NUP?
I think it is. My brother has just talked about, and it's
Within NUP.
Within the NUP?
Let me finish my point. My brother has just spoken about it, and it's a reality. And it may, I don't know if it's in NUP or elsewhere, but as long as it's in the opposition, when you're about to take a step, I'm going to talk to Mapenduzi. These people may misinterpret that. I will give an example. There is a gentleman called Bwanika, who I think is very, another very brilliant.
A member of NUP.
A member of NUP. And I think Bwanika is very brilliant if you've listened to his arguments. And Bwanika came up with a thing as a peasant, not even as an intellectual. He said, tuwulira waliwo abaana baffe be baasiba. Tetusobola kuteesa n'abantu bano ababasiba ne batta abaana abo. Do you remember that statement?
Yeah, we heard about it.
And I think...
And I remember the reaction.
And I think he made that statement.
He was bashed left and right.
He made it in good faith. I don't think he meant any evil.
No, cancel.
Let me finish my point.
Conclude.
You disagree.
Conclude.
Okay. But for a grieving mother, when your son's boss is at the beach enjoying a boat cruise and your son is in prison, I think then politics ceases to be an issue. You want your son back home.
Okay.
And you want a solution that can be put on the table to bring your child back home. Some of these are being tried for treason. So if treason carries a life sentence, as a mother, do you want to hear political bickering, or do you want a solution that will bring your son?
But before we cross over to Honorable.
Yes, let me first finish my point. So for as long as there is that suspicion, and again I think that issue was handled badly. We disagree with you. It is not our political position, but let's dialogue. But the wrath my brother got, my friend, I thought he would die, but if he hasn't died by
before
now,
council, before we hear from
Yes.
council, don't you think if we agree to such a compromises, it opens door for the ruling party, which
for more compromises?
For more compromises.
So
don't you think that is the standpoint of the opposition?
Let me
who are opposed to such a avenues for dialogue.
I understand you asking that question because in law, everybody that is not a lawyer is not educated. Now, let me talk about us who are learned.
That's the challenge you're having.
No, it's not a challenge.
Go right ahead.
It's a real challenge.
By the way, that's a joke.
Yeah, you go right ahead. Go right ahead.
The lawyers refer to themselves.
They are learned friends.
I don't know if they are, but we enjoy that aroma. Now, when you go to court and you argue, there are points at which you may choose to go into mediation to make compromises. You make compromises so that you get a solution that works for both parties. Getting that compromise does not mean you have been bribed by opposite counsel. But you're trying to get a formidable solution that will move both of you forward. So the misnomer of believing that because I have reached out to so-and-so who is in NRM or in NUP. And by the way, this is advice for both parties. There are people who at times see me talking with my friends in NUP and the FDC, and they say, as a deal. So I shouldn't have friends in the opposition just because we may disagree politically, but we may agree on issues of law, on issues of other issues that have nothing to do with politics.
So don't you find reason?
So for him to draw consensus does not mean his integrity has been compromised. And for me, I think in politics and in anything in life,
There should be room for
integrity
compromises.
is the most important thing, and utmost good faith. Did he act in utmost good faith? That's why I was saying the reaction of Bwanika was wrong, because I don't think he acted in bad faith. So I pity my brother Matthias. I don't think he's going to drop
A tough
consensus.
job he has ahead.
It is a tough job. It is a job he would have managed, but a job that he will not manage until he gets consensus from within
the opposition. The way, I mean,
not the opposition, from within
the party,
his party.
NUP. Talk about the cohesion within NUP.
Me and you, Council.
And the general opposition, the cohesion.
Council, me and you know that we've just finished a retreat.
Yeah, over the weekend.
And the Rome was not built in one day. Even a distance of 100 kilometers starts with one step. So my colleague, give time to Honorable Mpuga. I'm sure 100% is capable of handling these issues. Much as you, Peter, like you've been mentioning, that you, Peter, with him, my case is, I've been with him, we've worked together, I know what he can do. Let me tell you, even time heals. This is my second time to mention that thing, that even time heals. At this point, you cannot tell me that he has failed. We have been in Parliament for over 7 months, 9 months, I think 9 months. And you're saying that he's failing?
I haven't said he has failed. Please don't quote me out of context.
The mere fact that you, Peter, with him, it's like there's a percentage that is...
pitting with some...
He related to the circumstances in the...
And they are not
the general
issues,
position.
Let me give you an example.
Let me say, Peter, in Luganda, people don't... Maybe there is a miscommunication. Musasira.
Because of what? Because of what?
Munene simwangu.
But for us that
so
are working with him,
nchogedde mu luzungu, I pity him.
Now, because for us we are working with him, we know him. And by the way, for us we are not even bothered, because we know the person we are working with is capable of doing whatever it takes. And we are sure 100% is going to handle these issues. There is, I want to explain more about, you talked about us failing to join up with the with the FDC, DP. Let me tell you, we were in the retreat, and all members of parliament for those three parties were there. So why don't you give it time?
You give us inside information. What was being discussed?
Do we have to discuss that here?
Okay, but you know there are problems.
No,
Honorable.
Yes, in this world you cannot just
you
move
agree
on.
there are problems.
There are problems, but they are solvable.
Oh, good.
They are
so
solvable, and at the end of the day, they will be solved.
Honorable and Council Chinobe, a minute. If you have been following the statements of late from Norbert Mao, in relation to how NUP supporters protested and and their views on Right Honorable Jacob Oranya's trip abroad for treatment, and what that has caused in the general position, the rift is really huge.
Exactly.
To some extent, wait a minute. To some extent, one member of the opposition saying that we will not allow NUP members to cross Karuma.
Can I ask you something? If we react, because I don't want to take NUP to be able to...
By the way, if you are brave, you go and cross. But this is what...
No, I have business there.
This is what...
Let me tell you, whoever is developing that narrative is costing Ugandan. Is costing our Uganda. Because you cannot tell me, if we come up with a suggestion that since you've said we should not cross to Karuma, you should also not cross to Uganda. Can it work out?
Let me ask
you.
No,
don't bring issues that will cost our country.
Have you or Matthias Mpuga reached out to Honorable Norbert Mao?
And if he's not interested? if Mao is not interested?
Don't speculate.
No,
Tell us yes.
I know what is
and
there.
He has refused.
No, Council.
Oh no, he hasn't. Stop giving us political answers. And this is the problem.
Council,
you remember,
I know what you want.
You remember the point.
You cannot pick it. You cannot get it from Karl
You
Wanga.
remember
I'm
the
smart
point.
enough
You
for
remember
that.
the point I
No, I'm
made
smart
of
enough for
political
that.
maturity. I think the point the opposition was trying to make was good in regards to better health care in our country.
In fact, I want to quote Odongoto.
The problem,
The statement from
problem,
Oto
let me
was
finish
very
my
clear.
point. The problem that happened is this position of good health care was clouded with hypocrisy. You have people like, I won't talk about them, let me not mention names, who've been beneficiary to this medical care system, where they are flown out and
And to you, you're happy with
members of the opposition.
To you, you're happy with it because
So,
other people can access such services and others cannot.
Let me finish my point. Because if you don't see where people are coming from, that's the problem. So, while we need proper medical services, and every Ugandan would love that, I think it was wrong to target the speaker as a source or as a point of demonstration relating to our Medicare system. That point you could have made without necessarily bring statistics. Say numbers went, so and so went. On just those 4 people, this is what the nation has cost. Can't we do something better with this amount
And
of
that's
money?
the service
And
you're
then
doing
you
to this
start
country.
making it personal about
Blaza.
a person who is fighting for his life.
No, this is
shame
what,
upon you.
This is
No,
the
no, no.
service you're doing to this country.
What?
You have the
Service.
information. You cannot come out and explain to the public of what exactly is happening.
And you're
then
in parliament and you don't have
wait.
the information.
No, wait. Me, I might be having the information, but the issue is, can't you come out and explain as you're doing it now?
So you, if you have it,
No,
why
I don't want to waste time with this kind of argument. My point is very clear, and I want you to understand it. That there are issues that are coming in, day in, day out. For example, at one point, Odongoto and a group of people.
We are running out of time.
Yes, there's something I want you to bring because it was some time back.
Just in one
Remember,
minute.
do you remember when COVID had just come in Uganda? There are some Chinese that went to northern Uganda and they were blocked not to enter into Lango. You remember those Chinese? And I remember one of the colleagues that was behind that was Odongoto. Now he's understanding how it pains. My point now is they should not bring in issues that will cost our country. Those tribal issues cannot work as of now because they have many people that are working in Uganda, and we have many people that are working in Uganda.
Unfortunately, our time is up. But as you conclude, Honorable.
No, I want to finish up something.
We only have 2 minutes. We have 2
The
minutes
issue of
only.
integrity brought it that there are some people in NUP that are not reliable. They are not working with colleagues. These are normal issues. These are normal. Even you at your home, you might be having.
Disagreements are normal.
Those are very normal issues. But as long as they can be solved by leaders, what I
In just one
word, I would request my fellow leaders, more so my seniors, the likes of Norbert Mao.
Yeah, speak to them.
Norbert Mao, my senior, Dr. Besigye, Amriat, that you should be the one to help Mpuga. As of now, if we are scoring in the same goal. But if you are not scoring in the same goal, then come out openly and tell the public where you're scoring.
Before you conclude,
I want him to
let me read you this from Norbert Mao's Twitter account. The same people who threw parties to celebrate the death of General Paul Rokech are the same ones wishing Speaker Jacob Oulanyah dead. Their likes refused Milton Obote's dead body passage through Luwero to Akokoro for burial. They betrayed Ben Chwanuka. There is no truth in them. Conclude in just one statement.
Political maturity. Political maturity.
That cuts across.
Maturity. Yes, it cuts across, but mostly needed in the opposition.
Okay.
You know, when you are fighting to have what somebody already has, you have a bigger task ahead of you. And until the opposition realizes the concept of political maturity, it's going to continue being in disarray. This suspicion of everybody has eaten. Not everybody, people have a right to their own thoughts, to their own ideology, and to their own mind. Build consensus with those people you disagree with. Build consensus with the people you agree with. And this is a going concern. It never stops.
Good. Thank you. Honorable, our time is up. But if you want to speak one word, speak it, and then we go.
One statement. That my colleague counsel looks to be smart in everything, but is praying on the wrong side. Let him also wake up
and join the opposition. Our viewers, our time is up. This is The Dialogue. My name is Simapolo. I must thank all of you for, of course, being there and watching all these 2 hours. We'll be back next week, but again, there's a lot to watch out for unfolding out across the political divide. We'll be right here next week to do exactly that. I must thank Honorable David Richamuzi Karanga, Member of Parliament for Suju County. Thank you so much for your time on the show this morning. Thank you so much, Senior Counsel Simon Peter Chinobe, for being part of this show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to the production team and everyone out there. Good afternoon and a good weekend.
All views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect or state those of Salt Media and its management. These are views of the guests.